Okay, now mask off. Everybody can see that we are following the rules. Good afternoon to everybody, or good morning, or good evening, because I don't know when you are going to watch this conference. It's for me. I'm Miquel Lliteras from Evolution, and for me it's a pleasure to be today the moderator of this conference talking about why refitting the Balearics. I have been involved during 21 years in the refit sector of yachts, so for me it's a privilege to talk today with these experts that are part of experts in the sector. All of them are old friends of me, so it's great to say hello to Carlos, to Victor, Toni, and Rupert. First of all, I will let you to introduce yourself, and then I continue with 4 points that we can talk during these 45 minutes of the conference. So, Rupert, if you want to start.
Thanks very much, Miquel. My name is Rupert Savage. I'm the Group Commercial Director for GYG PLC, trading under the principal brands of Palma and the activity of yacht painting, both refit and new build, Technocraft, scaffolding, containment, fittings removal, and Palma yacht supply for chandlery and all supply-related activities for the yachts. And we're headquartered here in Palma de Mallorca.
Okay. Toni Salom.
Hi, everyone. Where is the camera? Is there? There. Hi, everyone. My name is Toni Salom. I'm the CEO of Nautipaints, and Nautipaints represent one of the paint companies in the industry and in the Balearic Islands. And also we have different chandleries around Palma, Barcelona, and south of France. And also I'm the president of the Balearic Marine Cluster, and it's a pleasure to be here to discuss about the topics about the refitting in Balearic Islands.
Okay, thank you, Toni. Victor?
Hello, hello everyone, and thank you for inviting me for this interesting conference. My name is Victor Perez. I'm Commercial Director for Astilleros de Mallorca. We are a full-service shipyard with our main facilities in Palma, and also very involved with the STP activity, as we also have facilities inside STP. And yeah, very much looking forward to talk about the refit in the Balearics. That I think is very interesting.
Okay, thank you very much, Victor. Finally, Carlos.
Hi, good to see you, everyone. My name is Carlos Albons. I'm the production manager of STP, and I have a commercial background, as you all know, and I'm as well ex-captain of the yacht industry. And I'm very pleased to be here with all of you guys, and looking forward to the chat.
Okay, then come on for, I select 4 points that I think that we have enough time to talk about it. First of all, I would like to talk about the quality and variety of companies specialized in the nautical sector in all types of length here in the Balearic Islands, talking about the models that you have in some refits areas and main companies. Of course, you are the representatives of the main companies, but talk about that this sector is quite important because you have two kinds of models that we will explain later, but that's kind of models makes that the industry in the Balearic Islands has grown a lot during the last years, and sometimes has been moved to another places of Spain because it's a reference in all the nautic sector. So if you want to start, perhaps Toni?
We know that, everybody knows that in Palma is one of the biggest points in the Mediterranean, for probably the biggest one for to do refits in the Mediterranean. We have different companies. The clients, one of the biggest point that the clients choose Mallorca or Balearic Islands is because we have a lot of different companies, and from the biggest one to the smaller ones, and the clients can choose which kind of company want to use. After the years, the companies start to develop a good standards of quality of working, and also they are very care with the environment, because we're living in an island, and we are very respectful with the environment and with the new rules that is coming for the future. But after all of these years, the most important point is all these companies is adapted to the small laws and bigger laws. And at these moments, we think we are growing in laws. We are growing because also the market is growing in laws. And also a lot of boats is come to Palma to do the refits because we have, we have a lot of good companies to choose. For example, if you want to choose a rigging company, you can choose 5, 6 companies in high standards. If you need metal work also, and also in the other side we have Astilleros de Mallorca. They englobe all the companies, and they can work in also like with one main contractor. And also in the other side we have the STP, and what is the client can choose the different companies to do the refit.
For example, Carlos, in STP, do you have all these companies inside of the shipyard, inside of the Varadero?
Not all of them. As you know, Palma has a good communication with the industrial area around the island, so pretty much you can have your own business location outside in 10-15 minutes away. But the main ones, yes, they are. Like we share with Victor in Astilleros and with other companies, as Toni was saying, with the riggers. But unfortunately, we have only as many locals in STP as we have, and they are all fully booked with months in advance. But yeah, the companies are there, are accessible, and with an easy call with captains, you can get assistance in the same day as you requested them.
Okay. And you, Victor, for example, as Astilleros de Mallorca, you have your own people, but at the same time you are working with other companies, a small company, well, small, we talk small, yeah, but because you are very big, but with other companies that can work also with you.
Yeah, absolutely. We have our own workshops for, let's say, all the heavy engineering, so welding, mechanics, piping, electricity, hydraulics. And we subcontract all the rest of the works. And actually, on the last seasons, the amount of work that we have subcontracted is 80% of the work we have performed. So most of the works that we do are subcontracted. We obviously subcontract most of our work with local companies, Nautipaints and Pinmar, but we are also happy to involve companies from abroad. So basically what we try to offer to the client, it's a lot of power of choice between all the companies that are in Palma and also the companies out from Palma. So he can choose who he wants to work with. So definitely I think that's one of the big points of the industry here in Palma, and also of what we offer to the client, which is this power of choice. The client can get the quotations directly to the subcontractors, and this relation between the client and the subcontractors in Palma and also with us, it's much more direct and much more transparent, because STP is an open model, and that has led us to adapt to this model and to try to give all this transparency and choosing capacity to our clients.
Okay, because talking about the refit here in the Balearics, we can see that there are like two models of refit. There is like a closed one that perhaps you have a main contractor, and the other one that is that the captain is really the most responsible, yeah, and he's taking care, or with a project management company of the project. So Rupert, do you work in both models from global here in Balearics?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've grown up originally with the smaller projects being self-managed, and then of course, as everyone is saying here, the beauty of the Balearics is the freedom of choice for the clients, and we also more and more work under sort of full management, whether that's through Shipyard, Astilleros de Mallorca, or there's a number of management companies that will take on the responsibility. So yeah, I mean, you've got really the benefits of all options here.
Okay, and you, Toni, the same, I suppose, as from Nautipaints?
Yeah, it's like I explained you before. The companies like Nautipaints or like Pinmar or other ones that we are in this market, we're training a lot our workers. We continue with the training. Just our way of working is everything is under standards of quality. A part of that also, all this working, all the projects is managed with the planning, with the schedule of work. We know when we start and we know when we finish, not only when we start. And this is one of the points that the people like to come to Mallorca, because they are they can work with the very high professionals skills in all the parts of the refit.
And perhaps another thing that we can talk about the refit in the Balearics is just, unfortunately, for the last season, because of course was not the season that we would like, but inside of the COVID period, in the Balearics, with the quality of the contractors that you have in the Balearics, all the projects were finished here and with the own people here. It's not necessary to bring people that was difficult to bring people from England or people from Germany or from Holland, just with the companies that are based here in the Balearic Islands, and some of them are from official services. All the projects were finished, of course, with some delays, as in every place, because the COVID was terrible for the sector also. But that's another good point, just to show everybody the quality that we have here in the Balearics.
Exactly. I mean, when all this COVID crisis started and the travel restrictions were there, obviously there was a bit of a panic from many clients and many projects, like, we need to bring people from the North Europe or from the mainland, and they cannot come. How are we going to do it? So at that moment, as I said, many of our clients chose, when the project was starting before COVID, to work with companies from out of Palma, and that it's perfectly fine for us. But when this moment came, we proposed them to work with the local companies, that they can do the same service. They are official services of all the main brands of generators, engines, etc. Plus, of course, painting companies like Palma and Nautipaints, which are probably the best in the whole industry. And the feedback was really positive, because some clients that know Palma for a long time, but they have always chosen for certain jobs foreign companies, let's say, they discovered that the industry here is even bigger than what they thought. So we managed to finish all the projects with all the works that were already planned, obviously not on time, because there were delays because of COVID, but we managed to do them. We didn't have to cancel works. And to be honest, some of these clients now, for the following seasons, they have kept on working with these local companies, because they saw, well, we can trust them. They gave us a big hand while this crisis, and they are continuing working with them. So that was one of the few positive things of this COVID period, was that some clients discovered the local industry.
Well, of course, when perhaps in other places the industry was completely stopped, here, of course, following the healthy rules, because with PCRs, with an antibody test, of course, with the mask, etc., the activity in the big, well, in STP or in Astilleros de Mallorca, with your people in Global and in Nautipaints, continue, perhaps not at 100% of capacity as we would like, but with a good capacity in comparison with other sectors or with other areas of refit sector.
Yes, actually, yes, it was a drop. We have an access control in our facilities in STP, and comparing with other years, it was about 1,700 people coming in and out every day, and during the COVID time, it was 1,200, so we have a drop of 21%, something like this. But the challenge for us, it was to accommodate all the projects, because the delay, the changing, the cancellations, but at the end, we managed to give the service to everyone who requested, and it was a happy balance at the end, and we can't complain, because we were active all the time during this last year, and that was good for us and good for the companies who are a lot of families living from this industry here in the Balearics.
Okay, and one important question is, Balearics is a referent for the industry, and what do you feel when the Balearics companies, and Global, Nautipaints is an example, Astilleros de Mallorca also, you have to go outside of the Balearics, because as you are a reference, the people are demanding you outside of Balearics, because you are samples. You have, some of you have projects in other parts of Spain and also in other parts of Europe. When you are going there, you see that they see that Balearics is really a reference in the sector. Rupert?
Yeah, definitely. I think the credibility of the Balearics as a refit destination has continued to increase over the years, for all the reasons that everyone's mentioned. Primarily this abundance of skills. The companies have been forced to professionalise their activities. I think, as you just talked about in COVID, it was a very challenging time world around, but I think Palma actually managed to fare reasonably well. There's very limited stoppage. We proved that pretty much every skill is available, on island. I think Coral Ocean is a great example of that. That owner specifically chose to take on a refit which may not have been considered here in the past. And I think, we've really proven to be resilient throughout that COVID time. I mean, we work overseas. It's been very challenging for us throughout COVID, moving people around, as you can imagine, with rules changing almost daily. But we've all, I think we've all evolved in our way of operating, and hopefully coming out the other side now successfully.
Okay, what is your opinion, Toni, that you are working also on site?
Well, it's of what I can feel when I go outside is like I explained you in the beginning. If you want to get a good carpenter, for example, is because when we're done a paint refit, we need to involve another subcontractors, like carpenters, like scaffolders, like engineering for remove all the fittings. And sometimes it's complicated to get a companies with could be good skills, okay, in house, but they don't have enough power to do they can attack one boat, two boats, but not like here in Palma that we can work in at the same time with 15, 20 boats and to do the full refits. That is the biggest difference that you find if you're working in Palma or if you're working outside to Palma.
So for the client, it's easier to find always, or for the client or for the main contractor, it's always easier to find a good contractor in each specialty here in Palma or here in Balearics.
And also the facilities. We have very good facilities until 70 meters, 75 meters, but we have an amazing skills, facilities, companies. Everything is in compare with the rest of Europe. We are in top, I think.
And I think that another difference that we can see here in the refit sector is that really thanks that Balearics is a tourist destination, and of course a lot of charters, and during the summer is full of yachts, really you have your clients in the corner. So in the marinas that are here in the Balearics, talking about Port Adriano, Portals, Club de Mar, etc., is really where you have your clients. You don't need to travel to other places just to pick the clients, because the clients are finishing the season end of August, beginning of September, and probably they have talked with you before, and they can do the refit directly here in the Balearics. So perhaps it's one of the areas that the number of yachts between summer and winter is quite similar. And perhaps is another good thing for
we don't need to go to do the commercial promotion outside to Mallorca. We can the fish is in our sea, it's easy to catch.
Okay, and talking about, of course, this is an island, but sometimes this island for the tourist, but also for the refit sector, is very important. The communication that finally we have, no, because perhaps it's easier to come by ferry or by plane to Mallorca that in some other places where they have a very good refit shipyards, but perhaps it's difficult to arrive there, and it's easier to arrive to Mallorca, no? For example, for the airport or for the port.
Yeah, from the airport, you can fly directly to Madrid or Barcelona, and from Barcelona, Madrid, you can fly to around the world because it's an airport with a good connection, and also you can fly during the winter time. You can fly to UK or Germany. It's very easy. Sometimes even the crews like to go home to visit his families, and also some of the owners and management companies, they are very easy to fly. And from I think it's from 1st of April until end of October, we have connection everywhere with the south of France, from Tunisia. Also, we have a ferry from Palma to Toulon. Now is started from 2 weeks ago. We started this ferry, and I think we have a good communication. Always we can be better, But at the moment we are good connections in general.
And a part of the good connection, Rupert, you are perhaps one of the most good samples about that. Is that a lot of crew finally are living here in the island. Because they see how beautiful is Palma, how beautiful is the island of Mallorca, how beautiful is Alaró, where you are living. And what do you think about that? Do you have a lot of crew members and a lot of captains that are finally, with the family, are coming here to be a little bit Mallorquins?
Absolutely. Well, I'm not sure how Mallorquin they're becoming, but they're all trying. But no, we're very fortunate where we live. You know, geographically, we couldn't be better located for yachts moving back and forth, making their crossings over to the Caribbean at the sort of entry to the Med. And yeah, fantastic climate. You know, our winters are very mild, which suits a lot of the works that we're managing here. Culturally, amazing. You know, food, international sort of gastronomy. I mean, it's really up to its game, I think, the Balearics, particularly Mallorca, over the years. And I think the crews now are a lot more involved in outdoor activities than they probably ever used to be. So there's fantastic cycling, hiking, you know, the beaches. So yeah, it's always ticked a lot of the boxes, which I think it has always been a popular destination for yacht crews and captains to have their home bases.
Okay, because in your case, for example, Victor, that you have good relation with some captains also, you have seen that finally, when perhaps they have done one refit in the Balearics, next year they are coming back, and a part of, with the yachts, they are coming with the family to live here in the Balearics?
Yeah, a lot, and also you see younger crew that they also grow, let's say, on the yachting industry, and then they establish more in here. I think this is a destiny where most of the people in the yachting industry want to be in the winter. Whether it's because they've come here for the last 25 years and they have a house here and their families, or it's the first time and they just love it. I think Palma is a super international environment, and the yachting atmosphere has here like a balloon with many people and social life and bars and cycling, and that they all do together. So yeah, I think this is a place where they're very happy to stay. And yeah, as Toni was saying, most of our clients are repeating clients. Like we believe in, apart from refitting and servicing, in the philosophy of taking all the maintenance that the yacht needs. So prior of the yachts leaving the shipyard, we quote and we plan the next season coming, so they can also give to the owner an idea of what they're going to spend and what they have to do. So we really believe in the life period of the yacht, and that we keep this connection. So it doesn't really matter if one winter they just need to do a pull-in or almost anything, and the winter after they're going through a huge refit. We always welcome our clients, and when we try to keep the link, let's say, between themselves and the Palma, which at the end it's what I think it's making ourselves successful. It's not only to do a huge refit and then look for another one, but to keep the relation with captains, managers, owners, ultimately.
Okay. One thing that I have seen from outside is like with the amount of companies that you have here in the Balearics, most of them are working in your installation in STP, and looks like a big family. Sometimes at the end of the season, they are preparing with some companies, of course, barbecues or rallies or events inside of the shipyard or with collaboration with the shipyard. Do you feel that really you have a real family there?
Yeah, we are a huge one actually. But it's normal, you know, as I was its captain before, as you know, you have to keep your crew motivated, and every Friday, you know, that you try to get a barbecue on the dock, and we are flexible about that, and we offer our installation for performing those. And what we want is super important, to keep our captains, crews, and companies, because we are in the middle of all the logistics of all of you, want to just make them happy. And that is what the captain wants as well, to keep his project, give a continue to his projects, basically. And you have here a good airport. You can rotate your crew pretty easily. You can bring a companies outside. It's not a problem. It's there. So that's what they want. And at the same, as Rupert was saying, we have such a lovely island. And for some people, just even unknown, and some places to discover in the mountains, on the hiking, bicycling, cycling. It's so many things that you can do on the water as well, that Mallorca is full of possibilities, and as much clients we can get and as much as we can grow as company and installation, the better, because we can succeed. And again, one more, we don't want to focus as well on yachts, because we are as well giving service to the commercial sector as well. We leave the tugboats of the port, for example, or as well the fish farm vessel who does the trips between mainland and Spain. So we want to try to just accommodate all the projects as well, from the family who has his own yacht and the big companies. So we are there.
Yes, because it's another part that sometimes is difficult to explain with the people that is outside of the yacht sector, the business that we are giving to the Balearic Islands, and in this particular case here in Palma, to other sectors, because of course, finally the crews that are coming here, they are buying apartments, they are flying, they are rental cars, they are going for shopping, restaurants, so the amount of money that we are generating to the rest of the society here in the Balearic Islands is great.
No, exactly, and it's not a percent. It's a small percentage maybe comparing with the whole population of Mallorca, or the Balearics in general. But there is a crew, or they are used to live on a certain level of lifestyle, that they are filling up restaurants in winter, they are filling up the spa, they are filling up hotels when they are in low season as well, and it's something that we have to consider. And just putting aside all the tax payment with spare parts, things that come from abroad, it's a huge industry. It's not only about refit, but it's something that it needs to be looked at with very different angles as well.
Yes, and also there are these companies, or some of them, they are with the clusters, for example, they have a good communication, for example, with the university or with the schools, just in order to prepare the young people that they can find a very good work and a very good career in the yacht sector, starting from down, because sometimes these companies are starting as a student to work in an electrician company or in a welding company, etc. And from the cluster, I think that you have this kind of agreements with the university and the professional schools.
It is. In the last 3 or 4 years, the government is pushing very hard the industry, because they denominate like sector estratégicos, strategic sector. And they are completely open to develop this industry, and now is create the school for the training school for the painting, because it's one of the things, one of the parts of the industry that we need to get more workers, because in general we can use part of the students that is come from the carpentries, or is coming from the mechanic, from the engineering. We can adapt to the yachting industry. But for the painters, is a little bit complicated, because the training that they have is to paint cars, and the cars is nothing involved with the industry, because the materials, how it's built the boats, is not compared with the cars, and also the way of ferrying, the way of making the job. But it's a start next year, next September, I think, is a start the school. And all the industry is support that, or even from the cluster. And we've done a lot of more things through the cluster, just to help the companies to develop the business. Also, we help a lot with we done courses for the project management through the university, and we have a very good communication now and very good deals with the governments to develop the industry, because they saw that most now with the COVID is a part of the industry that we can grow, not only to live in the island just from the tourists. We can generate another employees through the yachting industry, and we go forward for that.
Okay, yes, going forward, because I see some sickness there that we have finished in some time, but I would like to talk a little bit about the future, because here you have talked before about the different lengths, that the lengths are, or the loas are growing. They are, of course, depending of the type of yachts you have, is not the same. I will not talk about quality, but it's not the same of the amount of work that you have, for example, in a yacht of 25 or 30 meters, in a yacht that's 50 meters, 60, 70 meters, but these loas are increasing and increasing. And I would like to talk with you about the future plans here in the Balearics, about this increasement of loas, that for sure they need, well, of course, the installations, that nowadays is the installations that the big ones are STP and Astilleros de Mallorca here. But for future, we are talking that perhaps it has to be the increase for the build length. What do you think about it?
Yes, I do agree. We have, as you know, the yachting industry is growing at a pace that it was never imagined before. So now 70 plus, 65 plus, they are small yachts comparing with the big ones out there on the market. STP at the moment can accommodate 90 plus in the water. We can have a full paint job, as Rupert and Toni are doing already. And on the hard standing, we paint until 60 plus, 65 plus, sailing boat or motorboat. The problem is the amount of space for the large projects. We only have 3 in our facilities, 4, and together with Astilleros, we just team up there and we try to increase. But we want, or we would like to have, yeah, sure, why not more space? And we will fill it up because the industry needs to continue growing, and as much as space we got, the better. But so far, so good.
Yeah, I totally agree with Carlos. We have been fully booked the last, I don't know, I'm here since 5 years ago, and the last 5 years we've been fully booked, and we have both rejected projects. Even the last season, that was obviously a difficult one because of COVID. The 4 of us, we represent companies that we have to work outside Mallorca, even ourselves. That is more difficult because we are a shipyard, so for us the facilities are very important, but we're also working on the mainland. And the main reason for this, I think, is because we're lacking space in Palma. So we hope that we can have bigger facilities and to expand in Palma. We all have the feeling that we will fill them, and these will make not only ourselves to grow, but as we said, subcontractors are the key of Palma, so the whole industry will grow. All these collaboration programs that Toni was talking about with the universities, we're also very involved in this Master of Project Management, and we have many scholarships from the technical universities to bring people, local people, to work with us. So all this goes in the right direction, I guess, and we will need a bigger space. There are some projects already of expanding our facilities, both ourselves and the STP, and I hope that they move forward, because with the speed that the whole industry is growing and that our competitors outside of Palma are growing and increasing their shipyards, probably we are already late. So let's hope that we have it as soon as possible, and we can keep on growing in Palma. It would be ideal that we don't have to move outside of Palma to grow.
Okay, but talking about growing, it's not only about the installations, also about the people and the workers that you need, not only in your companies, also in the rest of the companies of the sector.
Well, you know, because you come from MB92, and you know that one boat like 90, 100 meters, you need no double, it's 3 times the people that you need to do any work, because all the spaces, the amount of square meters is huge, you know, and we cannot compare on because some people is thinking that with the 50 meters is like 80 meters, but just 30 meters more. No, it's completely different. The law is completely different. The kind of work is completely different. It's more, you need people more professionalized, and it's like I explained before. Is the government has in mind to increase the model of the business, the yachting industry, because they saw if we cannot depend only with the tourists, you know, and at this way we can develop 1,000 of employers. We can develop, increase a lot the visa that is coming in, and I think is good for everyone, and also for the industry. Of course, the industry needs to be. At the moment, we are the first until one law, okay? But now a lot of parts of Europe, like south of France or like some parts in Italy, they catch some of our clients because we don't have the space to do these boats, and that's the reason, because we are pushing and we want that the government is moving as soon as possible to try to find a good facilities.
Yeah, I think what Toni is saying also about the subcontractors and how the industry can grow in here, because of being such a big open market, where I think we have, you know, more than 500 companies based here, specialized in the yacht industry. The competence is so big, and there are so many projects that you need to quote and to do a good job and to fulfill the requirements and plan, etc. That this industry, it's much more dynamic than if you go somewhere where there are 2 big contractors for each specialty, or maybe 1. They do all the works that the shipyard there has, and if they need to grow, it's going to take more time, because we need to readapt every day because of the amount of companies. Also, some yachts come into STP and they don't really plan anything before arriving, so all of a sudden we have a huge project from one day to the other, which doesn't happen on our shipyard when we manage the yachts, and obviously in a shipyard. So I think this is a place that adapts especially quickly, and this happens also because of COVID, as we said before. And actually, all the big players in the industry are already growing outside of Palma. So I think that would definitely not be a problem if we're servicing bigger yachts, as Toni was saying, that we can adapt and give a proper service, because we're already doing that outside of Palma. So that's why I think this is really the moment where we are ready to go, to grow and to give service to bigger yachts, even though we have up to 120 meters in the water, and STP has up to 90, 100 meters. So we are already working on that market. What we need is to hold them out and to be able to do the full services. We have a lot of clients of these sizes that we service when they're in the water, but unfortunately we can only hold out up to approximately 80 meters out of the water, and then they have to go somewhere else. So that's the gap that we need to fill, and I think we're really ready to go.
Because one of these companies, for example, Global, Rupert, you have working also a lot outside of the Balearics, because some of your clients that want to paint with Pinmar, finally they have to go to another shipyards in La Ciutat or in Amico or in ME92 in order to do their project. So that means that if finally this project you have the capacity to paint it here in the Balearics, you have your own team here and you don't need to displace all this team outside of home.
Absolutely. I mean, we've set up bases throughout Europe and the States, so there are some other key business centres which have their own sort of client base. But I think it is, it's essential for Palma as a refit destination to expand. It's all about supply and demand. The demand is there. It's the worst thing that can happen is for us to lose a job through lack of space. So I think we're all looking forward to the future and making sure there is sufficient facilities for the demand that's there and the abundance of companies that are here to support that growth. So we definitely look excitingly to the future. It'll not stop us from working overseas, but this is always going to be our home base, and we want to watch it grow and succeed.
Okay, just to let you know, because Toni explained before, well, you know that I have been 21 years in Barcelona, but I was traveling a lot, and for me always as a Mallorquin has been an honor to see the amount of companies that are originally here from Palma, to see these companies in Barcelona or in La Ciutat or in Italy or in the States, because we are exporting the way that we are working. That means that we are working very well here. Immediately with any shipyard in the world are starting new installations, they want like an official office of these companies that the headquarters are here in Mallorca, and this is the best publicity that you can have around the world. Of course, you would like to have these boats here, but the yachts, this is the yacht is moving, so sometimes the yacht has to do the refit in the States or have to do the refit because sometimes you are full. This is one thing that's real. Yeah. That's at the end. That's one good thing. But at the same time, you think that you can do more that you are doing in case that you have more or bigger installations.
Yeah, that's what makes really Palma a refit location. It's not about obviously our facilities. It's about the network of companies. You could open a shipyard anywhere with fantastic locations, and actually this happens every year. And maybe very good prices, and then when the yacht arrives there and he needs to bring all the contractors from outside, I mean, you don't build the network as fast as you can build a shipyard, and that's exactly what we have. So much industry that we're even, let's say, exporting the industry outside, as Rupert was saying, working outside of Palma, and that's why we are in the position to run as good as I think we do the projects, and to make more and bigger ones.
Yeah, just to give you some figures to complete the information, is when I started, it was about 500 companies registered in the Port Authority to perform jobs in STP or in STP. And 2019, it was 700. 2020 is above 970. The companies are there, and what this is a huge growth, and it needs to be controlled as well, but the possibilities are here.
Okay. So I have here some signals, so we have to finalize today the conference, because for sure we can continue for 2 hours or 3 hours for sure. For me it has been a pleasure to see you again, Rupert, Toni, Victor and Carlos, and I think like a summary of this conference is in the Balearics, from big to small, we refit them all. So, because really it's good to see that it doesn't, and this is very important because sometimes there are some yachts that, okay, I am under 40 meters, and perhaps you are a shipyard that you are too big, or I'm too small for your shipyard, no? But here, any kind of vessels know that they can do the refit here in the Balearics. It doesn't matter your length. If you are at 35 meters, you can do the refit here, and if you are at 70 meters, you can do the refit here. So I don't know if you want to add something else to this conference, but for me, it has been a real pleasure to talk with all of you today.